Bruce Lee was a proven actor, not quote unquote a proven fighter. And when I say proven, world class level, not people he was fighting in his gym or on set, world class fighters. There is no doubt, no doubt. Bruce Lee is, you know how you have those yearbooks and you put your idols? Well, Bruce Lee is in mine. I was a big Bruce Lee fan growing up. Big Bruce Lee fan growing up. I still am a Bruce Lee fan. But I'm older now. I see things different now. And so I question things now. There is no doubt, no doubt that without Bruce Lee, martial arts in the Western world would probably not be as prominent. Bruce Lee may have died many years ago, but one question has managed to plague the internet. Was he actually a good fighter? Through his status as martial arts philosopher, teacher, practitioner, fitness guru is well documented. Now, how he would do in a real fight against a world class athlete, we've never seen that. There's also no doubt Bruce Lee was one of the greatest innovators and researchers of martial arts. He studied like a maniac. Now, just because somebody makes kick-ass karate movies does not make him a fighter. Not a world-class fighter. And I'm going to keep saying world-class because that's the point here. To be considered a world-class fighter, you have to fight world-class fighters. Bruce Lee never beat one world-class athlete or fighter. Good training, athleticism doesn't make you a world-class fighter. What makes a great fighter is fighting other great world-class fighters. Bruce Lee is one of the only martial artists in the world. I mean, he basically became a god. There are some people, I think, that actually worship Bruce Lee. I could be wrong, but I think there is. Now, to be a world-class fighter or to become a god in fighting, but never fight anybody, that's some god stuff right there. That in itself is amazing. Bruce Lee is one of the finest examples of how when people believe something in their mind, they'll defend it, become angry, even if you question it. And that's all I'm doing here, questioning it. You know, but Chinese martial artists are kind of like that anyway. They want people, some of these martial arts, you know, are straight up cults. They don't want to change. They'll say it'll work. They literally think their martial arts is the master and supreme over all. I'll tell you this about fighting. Most people really believe that they can fight until they get in one. From a psychological standpoint, most people believe that they can fight. But if you're not training, you're not running, it's kind of difficult to say that. But from the outset, people think they can fight. It's almost like growing up, Bruce Lee was like a god. I never questioned it. I never looked at looked at it or questioned it or anything. I just, yeah, he's a great fighter. It's kind of disrespectful to say that Bruce Lee can beat up Mike Tyson, or Bruce Lee was a very small guy. Now, anybody who knows anything about fighting knows size is important. They know each pound is important. This is why they have weight classes. Bruce Lee was like 130 something pounds. This is a very small man. And most of the pictures that you see of Bruce Lee, he had very small biceps as well, legs as well, glutes as well. And all of those things are needed in fighting. Now you hear about some of his Wing Chun brothers who claim he had these fights with kids in back alleys, just skipping school. He got in a lot of fights. Just because you got in fights in high school don't make you a fighter. There is a guy who has a YouTube channel called Bruce Lee Real Fight Channel. He has about 530,000 subscribers. Now, when you go through his channel, it ain't one real fight on there. He has a boxing match on there where Bruce Lee is kind of getting knocked around. But I'm not going to count that as real because Bruce Lee was like 17 or 18 in this thing. I mean, I wonder if any of these movie stars can compete on a world-class level. Jet Li, Steven Seagal, Jackie Chan, hell, Johnny Cage. Then, I think that just him being in amazing shape alone, he would be able to beat most people on the set. He would be able to beat most street guys who challenged Bruce Lee. And this happened to Bruce Lee on the set. We don't have any film documentary of that happening, but we have eyewitness video. We have eyewitnesses, but there are also eyewitnesses to him getting beat up. People will say, well, who said that? I'll get to it later. Anybody who's an MMA fan or a full contact fighting fan knows Fedor Emelianenko. He was undefeated in 32 fights in I think 10 years. Now he was a heavyweight. Where he was in a division where one punch could knock you unconscious, no matter how tough or how skilled you are. His undefeated streak is insane and likely not to be rivaled for a very long time. I wonder if Bruce Lee would have compared to George St. Pierre, John Jones, Anderson Silva, Jose Aldo, Royce Gracie. If I had to put my money, for instance, let's say John Bone Jones, I'm going with John Bones Jones instead of Bruce Lee. I've seen John Bones Jones fight. I haven't seen Bruce Lee fight. I remember they gave Wesley Snipes, not Wesley Snipes, it was, I forgot who it was. The guy who had all of these fights, who was I forget his name. It'll come to me. He said he could beat Bruce Lee. It was twice Bruce Lee's size and a professional, and people got angry with him. Now, I'll give you some good things about Bruce Lee. His reflexes were very fast. He was in incredible shape. He sparred in practice. You know, Bruce Lee said something, boards don't hit back. Well, that's kind of how his career was. And he was incredibly good at blending martial arts. He was really good at blending them together, making him a formidable opponent, I believe, with most average people on his feet or on the ground. And like I said, he actually did beat people on set. He fought people on set. But these were extras. These weren't, you know. One of the, as I said before, one of the biggest myths to me in martial arts or tricks is that he gained a lot of fame and notoriety by movies. This is how he did not gain notoriety by fighting, philosophy, things of that nature. Now, if anybody has seen the 1-Inch Punch, that has to be the biggest joke. Now, anyone who's an adult, if a person has their feet together, they don't have any stance, you could push them over with a finger. And you look at the comments, that was great. That was power. You can push anybody over with a finger if they have their feet together and standing straight. There was a guy named Wong Jack Man who some people said that he gave Bruce Lee all that he could handle. Now, there are conflicting stories of who was declared the real winner. There was Gene Bell on the set of The Green Hornet. Says that Gene Bell grabbed him by the headlock and carried him out on the set, and Bruce Lee was unable to get free. Say Bruce Lee just shouted at him until he was finally, put down. And this is now, some people may say this may not be fair because, he kind of grabbed Bruce Lee, didn't have a chance. According to Bruce Lee's wife, Wong Jack Man fought Bruce Lee to get him to stop teaching, martial arts to Americans. They say the fight was called off. There are conflicting stories about this because Bruce Lee was just too exhausted to go on. A guy named William Chen, who witnessed the fight, said it ended in a tie. This is true if nothing in this conversation is true. Bruce Lee never, ever, never competed on a world-class level. Street brawlers are different than actual fighters. I'm sure some of you remember Kimbo Slice beating everybody down until he went on the world stage. He was still good, but he wasn't beating everybody down. He is mostly, again, well known for doing movies, katas, having a great body, doing great things. Not professional fighting. He was not getting hit. He didn't. If he did fight any professional boxer, there's no evidence. Professional fighter, there's no evidence of it. Michael J. White, said he would he would, I believe Michael J. White, has been competitive, would have beat Bruce Lee easily. Bruce Lee even said he would cripple Muhammad Ali. There was a guy who said that he was super respectful of Bruce Lee. He said that if Gene Bell would have grabbed Bruce Lee, he would have obliterated him out of every 100 times. He would obliterate him 100 times. Joe Rogan on a recent podcast just said that LeBell would crush him. He said LeBell was a gorilla. He said that he would have been quick. He's a judo champion, and he has an arsenal of neck cranks and joint locks. He is strong as a effing bear. In his prime, he was a tank of a man. If Gene Bell really wanted to grab Bruce Lee at that time, he said Bruce Lee would have been unconscious, as would many trained martial arts would have. There is a fighter. His name is Xiao Zedong. And he has been going around China challenging these Chinese fighters, saying all of this is show and pompous. And he's been beating them down. It is very interesting to look at. I think he had the same energy as Bruce Lee. Many Chinese masters are so, they're very closed in. And he said early on when MMA came out, very few people knew about MMA, and people were actually trying to challenge him. I mean, when I say he's beating these folks down, he is beating them down. Somebody even offered him $1 million, said he would beat him. And of course, he lost. He was sued in 2019 for calling a Tai Chi grandmaster a fraud. And the Chinese courts made him pay $60,000 in damages. And I think he actually paid the money and paid a little less, and because of the apology. And this is the thing that's in China. His social credit, you have social credit in China. So his social credit was lowered. But why do I bring this guy up? Because he was just like Bruce Lee. And when I say he's going around and challenging these guys, saying, that all of this pompous isn't real, I mean, he's beating these guys down. But the difference between him and Bruce Lee, even though Bruce Lee was trying to expand, Bruce Lee had the same issue in China. Even though he is trying to expand, he's actually fighting people. And he has fought world-class athletes, which makes him different than Bruce Lee. I would say, let's just respect Bruce Lee as a great innovator, a great researcher of martial arts, a decent actor who made great movies, and leave it at that. He just does not have the history of fighting world-class fighters. I'm certainly not saying that he wouldn't be great or wouldn't be good. We just don't know. We just don't know. I doubt that he could be out of his weight class and beat bigger fighters. There's no way. I don't think there's ever been a martial arts fighter that has done well, way out of their weight class. Size matters. Anyway, thank you for listening.